I was gonna do a whole like production, somewhat quality thing for this video, but then I decided, you know what? The same effort that they put into that movie, it's the same effort I'm gonna put into this video. What's going on, guys? Hero here, and we are gonna talk about Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. This is the newest release of this whole Resident Evil reboot slash collaboration thing that they're going on with, adding like new movies, scenarios, stories, and stuff like that. And I'm just gonna say it right off the rip for those who don't want to waste time seeing the entire fucking video, because this may be a long one. This movie's trash, and you shouldn't go see it. Too long, didn't want to watch. Movie's trash. Do not waste your money. It is not worth going to see it in theaters. For those who want to stay and watch this long-winded rant, I warn you now that this is going to be a little bit of incoherent stuff, rambling, and it's probably not going to be one of those videos where we want to sit and watch. This is pretty much good for background noise. So if you're doing something, or if you haven't got anything done, you need to go do laundry or something like that, pop this video on, listen to the audio, go take care of what you're gonna see, because I can't really do any visual effects because obviously I don't have clips to show in the movie of the stuff I'm talking about. So take that as you will. Forewarning, there will be spoilers, so if you want to watch the movie first then come watch this, go do that. Or if you don't necessarily care, you just want to watch the content and support me, thank you for that. But this movie starts off already weird and incorrect. We see that Claire Redfield is traveling with the truck driver, and truck driver I'm talking about, the one with the big, disgusting but delicious looking burger, right? She is hitchhiking with him, and while she's on the truck sleeping, we get into a little bit of her backstory. And already, like, not even 10 minutes into the movie, and the movie's already found a way to piss me off. The way that they're setting off both Chris and Claire is that Chris and Claire are orphans that was raised in the Raccoon City orphanage by William Birkin. This is how this starts out. This is how it starts out. This is how we begin our story. That they were orphans, raised by Umbrella, and was going to be test subjects for Umbrella. That's how we start this. That's how we introduce both Claire and Chris, right? So we get a dream sequence where she's remembering back in her past. And another part that pissed me off is that as a kid, Claire ran into Lisa Trevor. You guys know who Lisa Trevor is if you played the Resident Evil 1 remake. You know who she is, or I'm sorry, remaster. It's more of a remaster than a remake, but it has some tendencies of a remake. It's a little confusing. But if you guys play Resident Evil 1 the remake, you know who Lisa Trevor is. Why the fuck is she in this? Why is she in this so early? Why does Claire know who this is, right? Why is this part of the storyline now? Why are they doing that? Why this change? This makes no sense. This was probably done in a way to make sure that Claire is always somehow connected with Umbrella, because everyone needs a connection with Umbrella somehow, this deep-rooted connection, and that's how they're gonna do Claire, is that she knows Lisa Trevor, right? For those who don't know who Lisa Trevor is, briefly, she was one of the experiments of Umbrella, her and her mom. Her mom ended up dying while being tested on by Umbrella. And I think she took her mom's face, or someone's face, and then sewed up on her face because she had like disfigurements from the experiments and stuff. It's a whole thing. I'll probably put like a wiki link or something down below for Lisa Trevor. Pretty interesting backstory stuff. Something that was pretty cool that they introduced in the Resident Evil remake. But yeah, so she talks and interacts with Lisa Trevor, and Lisa's pretty much telling her, oh, I stayed below the Raccoon City orphanage in the lab that's built under the Raccoon City orphanage, which makes some sense. So snap back into current day. She is still traveling with the truck driver. Truck driver's like, "Oh, what are you going to Raccoon City for? Raccoon City's a piece of shit. You gotta go see your brother." And while they're driving, we cut back to both Leon and Chris, because they meet a little bit early. But we cut into Leon, and the perception of Leon in this movie is that he's a dumbass that doesn't belong here, right? He's not like a rookie cop, or he is technically a rookie cop, but he's just a dumbass failure that doesn't belong here. His introduction into the story is that he wakes up in a hotel room inside of Raccoon City, already plastered, right? First thing he does when he gets up, drinks a beer. drinks a nice warm beer because that's our character. Now, later on, Leon does have somewhat of a drinking problem, but it's more understandable given the shit that he's been through up to that point as to why he would probably develop a drinking problem, not right off the bat. But we cut to him going into a diner, passed out, right? He meets up with the rest of Alpha Team, which consists of Richard, Jill, Wesker, and Chris. And so the reason that Leon is going to Raccoon City is not because he was stationed there as his first day, was because the guy was so bad at the academy that apparently he shot someone in the ass at the academy. But since his dad was such a high-ranking officer, I guess, right, he pulled some strings and got him to go over to Raccoon City to go be on the force there. That's why he's in Raccoon City. Fine, right? Whatever. Still dumb, whatever. So then we get introduced to Alpha Team. We get introduced to Alpha Team. Wesker is a fucking frat boy, per se. Jill is a crazy gun-toting maniac with no sense whatsoever. Richard's just Richard. There's nothing really special about him. And then Chris is... At this point, we don't know much about Chris, but we get to know Chris a little bit later, and it's stupid as well. Trust me, it's stupid. So they're talking, right? They're messing with Leon, pretty much saying, oh, hey, bet you can't shoot off this ketchup bottle that I planted on his head. And then this whole scene happens. And then 2 other cops come in from Raccoon City, the police department. They come in saying they need 2 coffees because they got called in because there's a dead body with a whole bunch of scratch marks over at the Spencer Mansion. Now, why you may be thinking, wait, why are they bringing up the Spencer Mansion? And why is Leon here? But we're also introduced to Claire. Right now, forgive me if I'm misunderstanding, and I could be misremembering this, but I'm pretty sure Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2 do not happen at the same time. Maybe they do, and I just don't remember. It's possible. Maybe they do happen around the same time. So I could be wrong, but I don't remember them happening at the exact same time. I don't remember the Spencer Mansion and the Raccoon City incident happening at the same time. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be. It's been a while since I've played the games. So, that being said, they bring up the Spencer Mansion, and so they're like, okay, well, we gotta go back to the police station. So everyone goes up to the police station. But before we go, Leon talks to the diner lady, right? The cafe lady or whatever. And we can see that she's bleeding from her eye. We obviously know where this is going. She's already been infected, but like it's just the start of the infection, right? So they go back to the police station, and this is where we meet Police Chief Irons. And I gotta say, this particular scene is probably one of the best scenes in the movie, if not the best scene. It's probably one of my favorite scenes. I'm not gonna spoil it for those who want to watch it, but if you do watch it, this is hands down probably the funniest scene and probably the best scene in the movie. It's great. I honestly mean that. So they talk their shit, and then they pretty much Chief Irons pretty much tells everyone, all right, settle up, get your shit together. Vickers, take the helicopter, take Alpha Team to go find out what the fuck happened to Bravo Team, right? So they're on the way to go see what happened to Bravo Team, right? Except Leon. Leon's staying at the police station because, again, Leon's already at the police station. He doesn't show up later, but he's already there. So that's the thing. So then we cut back to Claire and the truck driver. So they're driving. They hit the lady, right? And she just gets up and just walks off, right? They hit the lady, she gets up and walks off. She doesn't attack the truck driver like we've seen every other single time, right? What happens is that they hit the lady, she gets up, walks off. The truck driver has a dog, apparently, right? The dog gets out, starts licking the blood from the lady for whatever reason, because dogs are stupid. Then gets back into the truck with the truck driver, Claire, and the dog. They go to Raccoon City. And then she gets dropped off at their house in Raccoon City because both Chris and Claire have a family house there because reasons. And so she gets out and she starts walking to the house. We go back to the truck driver and he's petting the dog, right? It's like, hey, what the fuck's going on? And then all of a sudden, the dog bites him, right? So now the truck driver's infected. We'll get into that a little bit later. So Claire goes inside and checks around the house, sees some old pictures and stuff like that. She runs into her brother. Now, forgive me, the whole point of Resident Evil 2 was that she was looking for her brother. That's the whole point of Resident Evil 2. That's why she came to Raccoon City, which is why I'm confused as to how this all happened, right? Because if this is supposed to be a prequel, or this is supposed to be the beginning stages of both Resident Evil 1 and 2, they meet up right? And this is before they get to the police station, so I'm kind of skipping around here. So, Claire and Chris meet, they talk a little bit, and then this is what they do to Chris's character. So apparently for Chris's character, they decided that they was gonna make Chris a diehard fan of Umbrella, of Birkin, that he's just so grateful. He loves them so much. They gave him a purpose. They educated him. They gave him a family house. They paid for his education. He became a police officer. You know, he's alpha team now. So he's so in love with both Birkin and Umbrella. It's disgusting. It's literally disgusting, right? So he's a big fan of Umbrella. So they talk for a bit. He storms off because he's like, I'm going to the police station. Don't take my bike, right? So he goes off to the police station, and then what I told you earlier about the police station scene before they go to or not necessarily. Sorry, they're talking, and then it cuts back to the police station, introducing Irons, and then the alarm goes off. There's a wide city alarm that goes off within Raccoon City, saying everyone get indoors, stay inside, don't leave, right? Now, obviously, we know why they're doing this, because they're gonna bomb Raccoon City, right? That's the whole point of like Raccoon City or Resident Evil 2. They're gonna bomb the city, right? Wipe it out off the map, right? They can't contain it, so they're gonna wipe it out. So this alarm's going off, obviously, to tell people to stay indoors because they want to make sure they kill as many people as possible to stop it from spreading and stop word from going out. So Chris goes off to the police station. Claire's staying behind, kind of investigating a little bit, and then she gets attacked by these infected neighbors, right? And then she takes the bike and starts to follow suit to the police station. So that's how she's getting to the police station. At this point in time, however, like I said, they've already had their talk about going to go see what happened to Bravo team. So at this point, by the time she gets to the police station, they're already over towards to the Spencer Mansion, right? And they've already started their exploration of the Spencer Mansion, which they literally just walk in. There's like no suspense or anything outside of nothing. The dogs don't attack them, nothing. They just kind of walk in and they just kind of start talking. Then they say they got to split up, which in this movie, it seems like they're implying that Jill has a fucking lady boner for Wesker, right? It's implied a little bit that Chris likes Jill, but Jill likes Wesker. So that's kind of like the whole weird love triangle that they introduced here. So Jill and Wesker go in one direction, Richard and Chris go into another. So we cut back to the police station. At this point, Chief Irons tried to leave the police station because he wants to get the fuck out of there because he knows what's going on, right? He's still working for Umbrella somewhat. He knows what the fuck's going on, so he tries to leave, but Umbrella's has the city, shut down basically, right? They're shooting people that are trying to leave the city or break through the barricades, so they're shooting them on sight. He goes back to the police station, runs into some dogs, and then gets saved by Claire, who made it to the police station and, met up with both Leon and Chief Irons. They go back inside of the police station, and they're going to the armament to try and get some weapons and stuff like that. And again, Leon's just portrayed as this idiot that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. It makes you question, and they even question it in the movie too. Why are you a cop? Clearly you're not cut out for this. Why are you a cop? Is it because your dad was a cop? Why are you here, right? So they have that little dialogue spit. And then while Claire's checking out the weapons and stuff like that, getting the shotgun and stuff and all the bullets for it, Leon goes downstairs to the prisons, right? And then he sees the reporter. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but it's the same reporter that was talking with Ada in the game. Now, I glanced over this fact, but in this movie, the reporter's not talking to Ada, right? Apparently, this entire time, both the reporter and Claire was talking via online chat rooms, right? He was pretty much telling her everything that was going on with Raccoon City and what's been happening, so she came back. And, this is the same reporter. So he has no connection to Ada Wong whatsoever, right? Ada Wong wasn't using him or dating him or anything like that. No connection with Ada whatsoever, right? So Leon sees this reporter guy. The reporter guy's talking all types of bad shits like, oh, you need to get me the fuck out of here. Do you know anything about what's going on? No, of course not. And there is a good moment in this film that I'll give credit to. He starts to explain, okay, Raccoon City's been, Umbrella's been poisoning Raccoon City for the past couple of months / year, slowly, getting into the water supply, doing their widespread testing. How do you think that the police force hasn't been infected just yet if everyone's drinking the water? Well, that's because you guys get your quote unquote, medicine shots or, shit like that, right? You get your shots, your vitamins and stuff like that, so you don't really recognize. They're just like, oh, okay, they're just telling me to take it. Boom, I take it. I'm part of the police force. So that's why the police haven't really been infected, is because they've been given like a small resistance to it, right? To kind of temporarily save them off from the infection. So that's how the police force, and that's how like Bravo team and Alpha team's been able to survive, like, you know, actual like not like contact from like getting bit, but like from like the water supply. That's why they're not infected, but the rest of the civilians are. So he somehow grabs Leon's gun because, again, Leon's a dumbass. Grabs Leon's gun, tells him he needs to open up the jail cell, right? Now, inside the jail cell with the reporter, there's already someone that turned, right? You can tell he's turned by now. He's far gone. But the reporter guy's not paying attention because he's like the schizophrenic dude. He's telling him, hurry up, open up the cell, open up the cell. The cell gets open. The guy already standing like close to him, rips into his fucking trachea. Blood's everywhere. Reporter's dead. Claire comes downstairs, shoots the zombie because, again, Leon can't do shit. Shoots the zombie, sees the reporter. She kind of talks about, oh, this is where he was. He's been telling me about what's going on. And then she looks at Leon's like, you need to get your shit together, man. You're not going to survive the night. What the fuck's your problem? And then you see Leon's like, oh, man, I'm such a fucking failure. And then the zombie gets back up. Leon turns around, plop, 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 plop. And then the zombie finally drops, and she's like, are you done yet? Trying to look like a badass, which, again, Leon's just fucking worse in this movie. So they meet back up with Police Chief Irons. The zombies at this point are at the gate because the truck from the truck driver crashed into the actual police department this time. Crashed into the gate of the police department, pretty much, right? And so zombies are actually at the gate. They break it down, and then they break down the police door. And so they're flooding the police station at this point. Police Chief Irons, Claire, and Leon are trying to get out of the police station. So what they do is they take a parking garage, or essentially like a parking garage, out of the police department and goes to the orphanage, right? They go to the orphanage because apparently the orphanage is connected to the lab, which is also connected to the Spencer mansion somehow. So they go off to the Raccoon orphanage. And we get more flashbacks of Claire's like, oh, they're going to give me a new family, like when she was a kid, but not really. They was going to take her to the laboratory, but she somehow broke out. So they was going to take her to the laboratory to experiment on her. So they're inside of the orphanage, right? So they're all investigating. Leon kind of looks into this room, and you see Lisa Trevor yet again. Why is Lisa Trevor here at the orphanage and not at the Spencer mansion? Doesn't make much sense, right? So she tries to tell Leon, shut the fuck up, there's a liquor right above you. Leon, being the dumbass, starts screaming. Claire comes over. Lisa Trevor's gone. The liquor snatches up Police Chief Irons, slashes his neck, messes up his face. Police Chief Irons is dead, right? And so then the liquor attacks Claire and Leon. Man, the audible what the fuck that happened at this point was so immaculate. So as they're about to get fucked up by this liquor, Lisa Trevor out of nowhere just starts manhandling this liquor, just throwing it around on the floor, throwing it against the wall, then somehow got behind it, was choking it out, and then used like the little wooden plank thing or something to just like snatch his face in half. Liquor's dead. Only liquor in the movie, by the way, just one. So, right. So Lisa Trevor in hand-to-hand combat takes out this liquor, right? She leads them to the secret room in the orphanage, gives them these keys, which are actually and this is actually very stupid, I'm realizing this now. She gives Claire the same keys that you get within the Spencer mansion, the diamond, the heart key, all that stuff, right? Or no, I'm sorry. You know what? No, these were the police station keys. I'm sorry. They're the police station keys that you get from Resident Evil 2. She gives them the keys. It opens up a door in the orphanage, which I guess leads to like some transit center that goes to like the Spencer mansion where the lab is, and that's the last we see of Lisa Trevor. That's it, right? So they're on the way to the Spencer mansion. Alpha team's at the police station. Richard and Chris get attacked by zombies, right? Richard gets overwhelmed. Richard's dead, right? Chris somehow just survives wave and wave of zombies, right? They're like pinned his arm. There's one like right at his face that some reason not biting him, but you know, he breaks out of that. He starts shooting and stuff like that. You know, they're fighting zombies. We see that Jill and Wesker are just kind of like walking around. They haven't really encountered any monsters just yet. But we see that Wesker has a PDA and a map of the area, and he's kind of like going through the right direction. And then he goes into the piano room, which if you're playing as Chris, that Rebecca plays Moonlight Sinatra, and opens up a secret door to get out of there. Jill sees this like, what the fuck is going on? Why do you know this? And then it cuts to Brad Vickers outside playing Snake on his Nokia phone, and zombies attack him. This was weird too. Zombies attack him. They break in. He flies up into the sky, but because I guess he got bit and infected, or they was always just biting him and killing him, he crashes the helicopter into the Spencer mansion where Jill and Wesker are. That happens. They crash. You know, Jill and Wesker are fine within reason. Brad Vickers is dead. And so Wesker's like, holy shit, they was right. And then Jill's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then Wesker turns to Jill's like, these people a couple of months ago contacted me asking me, you know, these questions and telling me to get something for them, get this information that can expose Umbrella. Clearly that's not the case, right? Umbrella's pretty much contracting Wesker. And Wesker's like, they pay me a shit ton of money to do this. And then Jill's like, you was gonna fucking abandon us for money? And Wesker's like, what do you want me to do? Like, Raccoon City's a fucking cesspool and you guys want to fucking stay here and defend it. I'm trying to leave. And she's like, you're gonna leave us? We're your team, we're your friends. And then Wesker just kind of like, he moves Jill out the way, shoots a zombie, which I'm surprised he didn't let the zombie kill Jill and then shoot the zombie. I guess they're trying to humanize Wesker more, which is a bad decision in my opinion. They tried to make him more human. And so he shoots the zombie. Jill's like, are you still gonna leave us? And Wesker's like, I'm out. And then goes the other direction, goes into the secret tunnel, which leads into the lab that they're trying to look for. Jill goes back and tries to find Chris. Chris is, you know, still fighting zombies off. He ends up into the kitchen area in the first Resident Evil, where it's a pretty decent scene per se. Like, it's a lot of like lights going out. He's fighting zombies. Lights come back on. He's fighting zombies. It's a little jarring, a little bit, not gonna lie, but it's still a pretty decent scene, all things considering. It was a pretty good scene here where there was another member of Bravo team inside of the kitchen that was already infected, and like he lost his gun, so he didn't have the flashlight, so he took like his lighter, and he's like using the lighter to light. And it's like in a first person mode. He's using the lighter to light, and like the zombie's creeping. He goes out, he lights it again, and the zombie's closer. It does it like 3 times, and the final time's like, okay, there's gonna be a jump scare, get ready. And then he lights it again, he's gone, right? So he's like looking around in first person, and then he turns, and then there's another zombie coming at him from under the table, and then the other zombie, the one for Bravo team, is coming from above. So it's like, oh shit. It's like, okay, I don't know how he's still alive, but he manages to fight them off long enough for Jill to come into the kitchen area and then shoot the 2 zombies, right? And then now they're back to back. He grabs her pistol, and now they're kind of like shooting zombies. And then this is where Jill tells about Wesker. It's like, Wesker fucking betrayed us. He's leaving us here to die while he escapes. We need to go follow Wesker. Chris obviously is, you know, pissed. They try and go follow Wesker where he was. At this point, we catch back up with Wesker. Wesker has met up with William Birkin, Annette, and Sherry, and this fucking bothers me, right? This fucking bothers me so much. They fucking butchered Annette Birkin. They butchered her so bad. They made her, they downplayed her to a typical fucking housewife. That's all that she is in this. She has no relation to Umbrella. She has no real relation to like William Birkin. Like, she's not the dismissive mother that she was to Sherry, which, you know, builds the entire story of Sherry and how she is the way she is, right? She's just there, right? She's there for like maybe 2 or 3 scenes in the movie, and she's just there. So while they're in the lab, William is grabbing the G virus, right? Because obviously that's his life's work, and he wants to have that. So Wesker comes in there. It's like, I need that G virus, and you know, Burkham's like, fuck you, no, don't take it. And William's like, and Wesker's like, I'm not asking. Points the gun at him, right? So points the gun at him, and it's like, give me the G virus. And then of course Birkin's like, you know, why do you want the G virus? Who are you working for? It's like, it doesn't matter. You know, he closes it, picks up a gun, shoots Wesker in the chest, but Wesker has body armor. And then Wesker shoots Birkin like 4 times in the chest. Plop, 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 plop. You know, he drops down. He's dying per se. But he tells Annette, get the files, right? So Annette gets the files and opens up in front of him. And then Wesker's like, don't do that. And then William pushes the gun to Annette and is like, you know what to do. And so Annette turns and looks like he's about to shoot Wesker, but Wesker's like, nah, fuck that bitch. Bow. Shoots her dead in the forehead. Drops dead, right? So it's like, that's the end of Annette. We get nothing else from Annette. Annette's dead, right? Gone. So from this point, we have Birkin, William Birkin, he already injected himself, but you don't see him do the actual injection. We already see he hasn't injected himself at this point. And then Sherry's like hiding in the corner, crying. She's like, what the fuck's going on? And then we see that Wesker goes over to William. we see that he finally had like the empty vial that he infected him with. Wesker's like, you didn't have to go down like this. And then, you know, it pans out. He shoots Birkin like not 15 times. He like shoots him like 3 more times in the chest. He doesn't shoot him in the head, shoots him in the chest. Or no, he shoots him in the head and shoots him in the chest, pretty much saying that he's dead, quote unquote, right? Is about to leave to take the vials, right? But then Sherry picks up the gun, is like aiming it at Wesker, and Wesker's like, what the fuck? So he's about to shoot Sherry. He was about to shoot Sherry. And then Jill out of nowhere, boom, shoots Wesker. Shoots him either in the throat or in the shoulder. I'm not exactly sure where, but shoots him. And he's like, God damn it, Jill, you and that gun. And at this point, Jill's like, no, Wesker, please, we gotta get you out of here. We gotta get you safe. Even though she was just talking shit earlier about Wesker's like, he's fucking betrayed us. He's gonna leave us here. And so, in this point, the way that they change the story is that Wesker is the one that killed all the Birkins, essentially, right? Killed both Birkins, left Sherry alive, and they're getting out of there. They're going to like some underground train that Wesker was gonna take, so they can escape the city. Because at this point, they're informed that they need to get out of the city. So, from here, we see that William starts to transform into like his monster form, right? And that's the transformation. He transforms to his little monster form, right? Goes into that, and from there, we cut back into Leon. I'm sorry, we cut back into Claire and Leon. We cut back into Claire and Leon. They've made it to the Spencer mansion. They don't really do much there. They literally get there around the time that Birkin has transformed. Because Birkin has transformed. He's chasing down Jill, Chris, and what's her name? Jill, Chris, and someone else. I can't remember her name. God damn it. Jill, Chris, and Sherry. Chasing them down, right? Chasing them down. And it's like, runs into Chris. It's like, Chris, come out to play. And it's like, what the fuck was that? Anyway, so he's pretty much taunting Chris, saying like, oh, Chris, you're such a loyal lapdog. You really thought we cared about you. We thought I cared about you. Umbrella's just gonna fucking use you and your sister. You're such a dumbass. This pisses off Chris. He thinks he can fight Birkin, right? He doesn't see that Birkin's transformed, I don't think. So at this point, he comes out to try and shoot Birkin. Birkin grabs him by the throat, throws him down, starts, you know, doing the villain taunting shit. You're such a dumbass. I almost feel sorry for killing you. Picks up Chris. It's about to kill him, right? And then Jill comes out of nowhere with the shotgun. Bam! Get away from my brother. Bam! Say the fuck away from my brother. Bam! Right? Shoots him like 3 or 4 times with the shotgun, right? He's still not dead. Birkin's not dead, but he's hurt pretty bad. And then Claire was about to shoot Birkin again on the floor, but Chris was like, no, don't do it. And then Birkin was taunting Chris yet again. Oh, Chris, ha 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 ha. Oh, you really thought blah blah blah. And then Chris is like, fuck you, shut up. Shoots him in the head. That should be the end of Birkin in this case, right? Even though it was short-lived, this should be the end of the mutation. We'll come back to that later. So at this point, the party meets up. They're all together, right? Because Leon comes out of nowhere. It's like, oh, hey, don't shoot. I'm the rookie. And so they're all going to the train to get out of the city, right? At this point, they make it to the train, and they're starting to activate it, and the train's going forward. We cut back to Birkin's dead body. He's further mutating, right? He goes through a second mutation. And so while they're on the train, we see that the timer hits 6 a.m., and then the city just starts to implode on itself, right? Like the whole city's kind of like sinking underground, right? And so while they're underground in the train, the rubble and stuff is crashing on the train ends up stopping. At this point, Birkin's caught up somehow, and now he's just this weird lizard alligator looking monster with like super teeth and all this shit. Some weird monstrosity, right? And I mean monstrosity, and I mean obviously he's a monster, but I don't even know we're even close to what the original design choice was for Birkin when he mutated, right? And so Chris is trying to shoot it with a pistol, does nothing. Fucking Claire gets snatched up and somehow has a knife and stabs him in the face, which drops him long enough. And then out of nowhere, Leon comes out with a rocket launcher. Now, this is how the scene went. All right, I'm going to use my hands here, so just follow along with me. Here's Birkin. Here's Chris. Here's Leon with the rocket launcher, right? Like, notice that these two are super close. Leon, in his infinite wisdom, shoots a rocket launcher at Birkin, hitting him while Chris is like right here. The fact that Chris survived that is a fucking get. I don't know how he did it, right? Don't know how he survived it. fucking magic. At this point, Birkin is dead, finally, per se. Birkin is dead, and it goes into the credits to where it is Jill, Claire, Leon, and Chris, and Sherry. They're all walking out in slow motion from the train tunnel because they get like this whole like little data entries like Raccoon City containment complete, Raccoon City labs dead, assets dead, survivors 0, and then it shows them 5. Obviously the 5 survivors of like the Raccoon City incident. And then we go through some post credits, and then here, right, we get the Wesker revival scene. Now the way they did this is also stupid, right? We see Wesker in a body bag. He's like, fuck up, he unzips himself and he's going crazy, right? And then he like shovels up in the corner, and here comes Ada Wong. Yep, they tied in Ada Wong into this, and Ada Wong tells Wesker, oh yeah, we took a lot of trouble finding and reviving you. You should be dead. And Wesker's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What's up with my eyes? Like he has his eyes closed. Like, and Ada's like, oh yeah, that's part of the process. There'll be other side effects, and hands him a pair of shades, and now he's Wesker. And then Wesker's like, what the fuck do you want with me? And then Ada Wong just like walks off and smiles, and that's the end of the movie. And honestly, everyone involved in this movie needs to be punched through a fucking wall. I swear. Like, why do we keep doing this, right? Like, why do we keep doing this with anime and video game stuff, right? Like, why do we do these live actions if you're just gonna butcher the source material, right? Oh, and another scene here, and I forgot this scene because it was so brief yet so stupid. It just siphoned out of my mind, and then I drug it back in. They introduced Code Veronica into this. Why? What does Code Veronica have anything to do with this? Code Veronica is his own separate fucking thing, and the way they do that is when both Leon and Claire are on the way to like the Spencer mansion. There's a brief moment to where they see like this old film footage, and they play the footage, and it's the 2 fucking twins from Veronica, from Code Veronica. I forget their fucking name. I think they're like the Alexa twins or something. I don't remember. But it's those 2 fucking creepy twins to where like the boy's like plucking the wings from the dragonfly and then dumps it into like the little ring of ants, and they're just like watching it creepily and smiling and shit. And that's like the whole revelation is like, oh, this is where they brought children to experiment on, and this is what it was gonna bring me and Chris, blah. It's so fucking dumb. It's so fucking dumb. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. So yeah, they essentially mashed up Resident Evil 1, 2, and some Code Veronica into this. I don't get it. I really don't understand the thought process of this. I really don't. Like, this isn't an origin story. I mean, you've butchered up so many other people's origin stories, right? You fucked up so many characters and shit. Like, and where the fuck is Barry? Where's Barry Burton? Like, he was an essential figure in Resident Evil 1. A lot of shit wouldn't have happened if it wasn't because of him. Like, what the fuck? And why did you change Annette? Like, why was Annette even introduced in this? Like, she was a pivotal person in Resident Evil 2. Like, oh god. In all honesty, please don't go watch this movie. Don't make the same mistake I did. Don't go watch this movie. It's not good. It is not good. Like, if you are a true fan of Resident Evil, if you like Resident Evil, do not watch this movie. I dare say, go watch the first and second Resident Evil movies from way back in the day with Mila Kuvukovic or whatever her name is, right? Where the one they had like the whole Alice saga. Go watch those 2 movies. At least those 2 movies are somewhat entertaining, right? As insulting as they are, at least they're entertaining. Or at least go watch Infinite Darkness. Infinite Darkness is actually pretty good. Go watch that on Netflix. Don't go watch this movie. Do not go watch this movie. Like I said, this is going to be low minimum effort because at this point it's just more of a rant than anything, and I'm showing the same energy that they showed at that fucking movie. Just please don't. If you ever listen to me on anything that I say or anything that I talk about, just please don't. Do that for me. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care.